We arrived at Aurelia Prime, the jewel planet of the Aurelian Empire, orbiting a blue-white star that shimmered like cracked diamonds. Their architecture resembled sculpted light. Their people stood tall, elegant, with crystalline hair that refracted colors like prisms. And their princess? Princess Lyri Solari, heir to the throne, diplomat, warrior, and bearer of the celestial mark. Rumor had it that no human had ever spoken directly to her. I didn't expect to be the first. Our ship docked with the orbital palace, a sprawling lattice of silver and luminescence. While the captain and ambassadors prepared for the formal reception, I was busy checking the translation nodes implanted in our uniforms. Human Aurelian translations were notoriously delicate. One mistranslated vowel could turn, "honored to meet you," into, "your hair resembles molten fungus." So yes, I was stressed. When Captain Duran handed me the datapad with last-minute corrections, I muttered under my breath, "I'd marry anyone who makes this easier." It was just a whisper, a frustrated, exhausted whisper. But my translation node, glitching from the solar interference, recorded it. Minutes later, we were escorted into the grand reception hall. The atmosphere thrummed with radiant energy, as though the walls themselves were alive with cosmic breath. Then she entered. Princess Lyri walked with the kind of grace that made the air pause. Her eyes were not one color, but shifting galaxies, violet, gold, silver, like stardust moving behind glass. Her presence silenced the entire room. My heart, unfortunately, didn't get the memo. She stopped in front of our delegation. "Welcome, travelers from Earth," she said, her voice like warm crystal chimes. Everyone bowed. I bowed too, though clumsily because my knees forgot how they worked. Then, as the princess approached closer, my translation node pinged and broadcast my accidental whisper, loudly, clearly, immediately translated into the Aurelian royal dialect. The hall froze. Princess Lyri blinked once, twice. Then the corners of her lips curved. "A proposal?" she asked. I died inside. "And no, Your Highness, there must be a malfunction." But she lifted a hand, silencing the alarms of panic going off inside me. "Among my people," she said lightly, "a whispered vow carries deep weight. It is the most sincere form of proposal." My breath vanished. The ambassador stared at me like I had single-handedly started a war. But the princess continued, "And I accept." The room erupted in shocked gasps. I swayed. Someone caught me. Or maybe I caught myself. I can't remember. All I knew was that nothing, absolutely nothing, was going to be the same. Middle. The consequences of an accidental binding. Within an hour, I was escorted, gently but firmly, into the princess's private solar garden. It floated above the palace like a suspended sphere filled with glowing vines, luminous water streams, and petals that drifted in slow, dreamlike spirals. Princess Lyri stood with her back to me, gazing at the starlit horizon. She spoke without turning. "You humans speak impulsively. I find it amusing." I swallowed. "Your Highness, this is a misunderstanding. I wasn't proposing. It was a joke to myself." She finally faced me, her expression unreadable. In Aurelian culture, intent matters less than the word spoken. A whispered vow is binding. You offered a promise. She stepped closer, her voice low, and I accepted. Can't we unaccept it? I tried. A rare smile crossed her face. Technically, yes. But doing so publicly would be seen as disrespectful. Not to me, but to you. My eyebrows shot up. To me? Yes. Refusing a vow implies the proposer is unworthy of honor. My council would view it as an insult to your entire species.
Oh, great.
So breaking this would potentially start interstellar diplomatic chaos. Wonderful. She must have seen the panic in my eyes, because her expression softened. Calm yourself, Elias Ward, she said gently. I have no intention of forcing you into anything. I exhaled shakily. Relief washed over me, until she added, but I would like to know you better. A vow was spoken. We should see whether it was fate or error. I rubbed my temples. I really didn't mean. And yet, she interrupted, the cosmos often arranges meetings with curious precision. With a gesture, she invited me deeper into the garden. We walked along shimmering paths that glowed beneath our steps. Strange creatures, gentle, floating beings of light, hovered around her like affectionate pets. You're different from most humans, she said suddenly. In what way? You don't hide your emotions. You feel intensely. You are honest even when you try not to be. I'm pretty sure my honesty just caused a galactic diplomatic crisis. She laughed, soft, melodic, beautiful. You gave a sincere vow without expectation. That is rare and refreshing. We spent hours talking about Earth, about Aurelia, about cosmic phenomena and childhood stories, about duty and fear and dreams neither of us had ever confessed to anyone else. The more we talked, the less terrified I became, and the more I realized how lonely she was, trapped in expectations and politics. At one point, she plucked a small star petal from a glowing vine. Hold this, she said. I took it. It vibrated softly, like it carried its own heartbeat. It recognizes resonance, she explained. It glows brighter near someone whose intentions are pure. The petal pulsed warmly in my hand. Princess Leary's eyes sparkled. It seems you meant no harm. Good, I said weakly. Because I'm allergic to interstellar war. She laughed again, and then her expression changed, turning serious, almost vulnerable. Elias, she said quietly, if you wish, I can declare the vow paused, not broken. A private review. No offense given. But, I want your decision to be honest. Not made out of fear. My heart pounded, because somewhere between surviving embarrassment and learning her world, something had begun to shift. Something I wasn't prepared for. I don't know what I want yet, I admitted. But talking to you hasn't been terrible. She raised an eyebrow. High praise. For someone who just got engaged by accident? Extremely high. She touched my hand lightly, a delicate gesture, but it sent a shock through me. Her skin was warm, almost electric. I look forward to discovering whether your whisper was truly accidental, she murmured. And suddenly, I wasn't so sure it had been. Escalation, politics, danger, and truth the next day. Everything went wrong. A faction of radical Aurelians, known as the Solar Purists, hated the idea of humans forming close ties with the royal line. They believed humanity was weak, unworthy, tainted. When the news of the proposal spread across the planet's networks, the purists grew furious. And they targeted me. I was walking with Princess Leary through the Hall of Constellations, an enormous chamber filled with star maps and living holograms, when the alarms flashed red. Her guards shouted. A blast rocked the hall. A drone swooped in, aimed directly at me. Leary reacted faster than any human could. She grabbed my arm and pulled me behind her, summoning a shimmering barrier of golden light. The drone exploded against it, scattering sparks across the marble. She turned, face blazing with anger. They dare attack in my presence? Princess, what's happening? I asked, heart slamming. The purists believe our vow is a threat to tradition. They intend to remove that threat. By removing me, I said grimly. Her grip tightened. I will not allow that. More drones swarmed in from the upper balconies. Leary extended her palms, releasing arcs of radiant energy that sliced through the attackers. Her entire form glowed, ethereal and fierce. "Run with me," she commanded. We sprinted through winding corridors as explosions echoed behind us. Guards clashed with purist infiltrators. The palace trembled. Finally, we reached a secure chamber sealed with crystalline doors. As they locked behind us, she turned to me. "Are you harmed?" "I'm fine," I panted, shaken but alive. She stepped close, too close. Her breath brushed my cheek. "You are under my protection now," she said softly. "But what if protecting me puts you at risk?" I asked. Her eyes glowed. "Then so be it." A vow was spoken, and whether accidental or not, I intend to honor it. I swallowed. Hard. Because in that moment I realized something. I didn't want her protection because I'd made a mistake. I wanted it because I was beginning to care.
Deeply.
Climax. The choice hours later, with the purists subdued and the palace secured, Princess Leary summoned me to a high balcony overlooking the radiant oceans of Aurelia. The sky shimmered with auroras. Light danced across her hair like living constellations. "It is time to decide," she said quietly. "Decide what?" I asked, though I already knew. "Whether our vow will be honored or dissolved. I will give the announcement personally." Silence stretched between us. She looked away, her voice softer. "If you choose to end it, Elias, I will accept your decision. The cosmos does not bind what is unwilling." "Leary," I whispered. Her eyes met mine, uncertain, hopeful, afraid. I took a breath. When I whispered that stupid line, I wasn't thinking. It wasn't meant to be a proposal. Her expression dimmed slightly. But I continued. "These last 2 days, I've learned more about you than I expected. And, well, I like who you are. More than I should." She blinked. "I'm not ready for marriage," I said honestly. "Human or alien?" A faint smile tugged at her lips. "Understandable. But I'm not ready to end the vow either." Her breath caught. "I want to see where this goes," I said. "Not because I'm bound by your culture, but because I want to." The wind carried shimmering dust between us. Then she stepped closer and did something no Aurelian princess had ever done with a human. She took my hand. "Then let our vow remain," she whispered. And the balcony lights flared in recognition, glowing bright gold, the color of a mutual bond. Ending. A new beginning. The ceremony was not a wedding, not a binding, not even an engagement. It was something uniquely Aurelian, a vow of exploration, a mutual agreement to embark on a shared path without obligation or finality. Before an assembly of leaders and diplomats, Princess Leary announced, "Elias Ward and I will honor the whispered vow, not as a promise of union, but as a journey. Together, we will learn, explore, and decide our future in time." The hall erupted in astonished murmurs. I stood beside her, feeling wildly out of place, yet strangely right. After the ceremony, she leaned toward me. "Are you frightened?" she asked. "A little," I admitted, "but mostly curious." "Good," she said, smiling. "Curiosity is the first step to destiny." "And the second?" She squeezed my hand lightly. "Walking forward with someone who hears your whisper and answers." I smiled back, heart warm. "So," I murmured, "what happens next?" She looked at the stars above her world, then back at me. "Next," she said softly, "we discover whether your accidental proposal was destiny in disguise. And together, hand in hand, We stepped onto the glowing path of a future neither of us could have predicted, but both of us were ready to explore.